Some of it is due to the drought.
Excuse me?
Some of it is due to the drought. Some of it is due to the excessive heat. But the leaves are changing in the great state of West Virginia. The fall leaves have arrived here in the middle of September. And in case you didn't know, it's really, really football time now.
You mean it wasn't before?
The precursor, the pre-part of football, the appetizer. On Saturday inside Milan Puskar Stadium, the entree begins to be served. Why? Because you can start over after the appetizer round. It's the main attraction. It's Big 12 Conference play, and it starts for West Virginia and the Jayhawks of Kansas. And this is Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 576. I had to circle back around. I didn't really know where I was going when I started.
But you brought it around.
You helped me out. You kind of, you kind of guided me. Hoppy's here. He got a ball cap on that people are raving about. Look at that bad boy right there. Little Three Guys.
I had to bend. I can't go like G Green. You know how G Green goes with the
flat
brim? I don't think I can
bring it up
do
a little
that.
bit. Yeah, that's fine. Senator.
Thank you, Brad, for the lid.
Well, I'm just glad you're wearing it. You looked at me like I had four heads when I wore mine in a couple weeks ago. I'm glad you've quickly adapted to the dress code on this podcast. Very well done.
We'll talk more about the hat in a bit. First thing I want to tell you is that we're unable to do this program if it wasn't for our super awesome sponsors. Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Comax Business Systems. Visit them at comaxwv.com. By Gomart. Get a Gomart Rewards card. Do it off of their app. Do it off of their website, gomart.com. But here's what I want to tell you. You save immediately on food and fuel. And going to Gomart this week, get some of our brand new Connection 304 beer. It's available, of course, at the Flatwoods Epicenter, plus other Gomart locations. If they don't have it when you get there, sit down on the floor.
No, don't
do that.
And
do that.
say it's a sit-in and you're not leaving.
Do that, you
don't.
can ask. I should have checked yesterday. I was there getting gas yesterday.
Three
What,
guys.
you didn't ask?
Huh?
Didn't check?
Well, I didn't go in because you guys shamed me for going in last time and yelling about those Reese peanut butter cups.
Well,
So
you
now
just
I just
walked
thought,
in. You
I'll
just
stay
walked in
outside,
and go.
get my gas, and I'll leave so you guys don't yell at me.
Well, if you were nicer to the people there.
I was nice. They were great. I thought I was very hospitable as well. We had a great
guys.
conversation.
Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell
what I
Marine
needed.
Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Three Guys also brought to us by, Tudor's Biscuit World. Apparently, there are people questioning our ability to eat the two Mountaineer biscuits. I got a text in here a little bit later. I forget whether he says he's done it or he can do it or he will do it.
I understand the questioning of that. I get it. I'm starting to question myself as well. They are
Well,
big.
you crushed that one we brought in on Sunday.
Tasty.
Like
Three
one
Guys
right
also
now.
brought to us by
Hungry
Conley CPA Group. Stats on spreads on stats coming up, providing value beyond numbers. That's the Conley CPA Group. Okay, court's in session. Thanks for being with us. We're not totally over 100% what happened last Saturday, losing the heartbreaker to Pitt, but at the same time, nothing stops.
Time doesn't stand still.
No, it doesn't. Never has stood still, and so you got to play the next one. So you better move on because you're not gonna get dividends for being bummed out.
Steve Miller. Time keeps on ticking into the future.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Heard a story this week that relates to that.
Excuse me?
Well, I heard a story.
That song?
No.
Time?
That relates to the time keeps on moving. You got to keep going. You don't have any other choice. You got to keep going. You want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Involves a young Kobe Bryant.
Which Kobe? The one that plays for Kansas at corner or the...
Excellent question given this week, but no, the original.
Okay.
So Kobe missed some shots in a playoff game late in the game, like multiple shots to win the game. Missed the shot early in his career. So afterwards, he was over on the bench and hanging his head, and he was in thought, and he got done, came back, and went to the interview session, and the first question was asked, how bad do you feel for missing those shots? Could have won the game if you made the shots.
Mm-hmm.
And he says back to the questioner, says, what does feel have anything to do with it? How I feel, what's that have to do with anything? He said, I know why I missed the shots. I'm going to get back in the gym tomorrow and fix what didn't happen today. I will get that fixed. So the next time it comes up, the next time I get that shot, I'm going to hit it. Feeling has nothing to do with it. The only thing that matters is that I get it fixed. I thought that was a pretty appropriate time to hear that, because I think that applies to West Virginia's football team. Fans, not so much, because you're going to feel it and you're going to be emotional. Setbacks are emotional.
Yes.
Right? In anything we do in life, when you face a setback, it's emotional. But when you're the team in this situation, you only have one choice. That's to get back to work, and you got to try and fix it. And you got to fix it fast, because starting Saturday and continuing for the next few games, you have got real challenges in front of you. So I thought that was an appropriate story that I just happened to hear this week.
It absolutely fits.
Yeah.
You can't, you want to be emotional in the game, but you can't afford to be overly emotional.
I thought you were going to come out with some more lyrics. I thought you were going to go, you can't always get what you want. Rolling Stones.
But sometimes.
Or you go Bob Dylan.
You just might find you get what you need.
Or you go Bob Dylan, you go, you can't lose nothing when you ain't got nothing at all.
That's not exactly
I know,
it,
it's a paraphrase that. You can't lose. What's the line?
You got nothing. You got nothing.
Guys, anyway, this is a heck of a high stakes matchup for week 4 of the season, for two teams that come in very mirror images of each other. Disappointed, desperation on both sides. This has a November type feel to it in terms of who needs to get a win. It's both of these programs.
Brad, I was just thinking about that you have a game in mid-September where you have two teams, each underachieving so far, and a lot is at stake. You're right. It has a November feel to it, because somebody's going to come out of this thing. Both teams are going to walk in. One of them's going to limp back. Yeah. Both of them. So it's whoever loses is going to be in a bad situation. Hoppy's obvious observations. And Tony, you mentioned the conference schedule, and that's true. So it's all ahead of you starting the conference schedule, but you got to play better, okay? Starting the conference schedule can be a fresh start, but West Virginia has to play better in order to be successful in that conference schedule starting Saturday. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and what's wild about this with these two teams that are so desperate for a win, there's like two glaring weaknesses on one on each team, and they're going against each other.
Yeah.
West Virginia's struggling pass defense, we'll get into some of those numbers, going against a Kansas offense, and Jalon Daniels in particular, that's having a whale of a problem completing passes to his own team and throwing a ton of picks. And there's a lot of nuance off of both of those things, but those are the two big storylines here. Can West Virginia fix its pass defense? Can Kansas fix its inability to keep the football? It's turning it over at an unbelievable clip. And that's, to me, that's where this story starts. Two massive areas of weakness through 3 games for each team. Which one performs this week?
Oftentimes you talk about strength on strength. This is weakness on weakness, right? Yeah. So Daniels has thrown 6 picks. West Virginia's defensive pass defense struggles well documented. Brad, so there's 2 parts to an interception, right? The throwing of the interception. What's the other part?
You got to catch it.
Got to catch it. So West Virginia's got to, if Daniels is going to continue to throw interceptable balls, and you'll probably have some stats on that, then West Virginia's got to do its part defensively,
which it hasn't to this point.
Right, exactly.
Not only has the coverage been lacking, but balls that there's been opportunities to pick them, and you just haven't picked them. So the Kansas side of it looks at this and says, "Listen, Jalon Daniels was preseason player of the year in this league." Still a dynamic runner. We'll get to that as well. But really struggling to throw it. So is that a couple of bad games with some bad throws? Is it a total now lack of confidence that'll carry over? Is it something that's pretty fixable? Because you go through the rest of Kansas's stuff, they should really be 3-0. You can point to one thing with them, and that's those interceptions. Yeah. West Virginia's feels a little harder to fix. You're hearing Neil talk about new players getting inserted in there in the defensive backfield as we're into week 4. And already talking about more guys getting opportunity. You go to the Kansas side when they're talking about Jalon Daniels, Lance Leipold has said, quote, and I'm quoting, "It's a fragile situation regarding Daniels." So that seems like, well, maybe that's an ongoing issue. Can you get a pick early and continue the slide? He throws a pick early. Does he get pulled? There's been a lot of talk out in Kansas this week. Is he the right quarterback? Should you go to your backup? It's amazing how these storylines for the two teams parallel each other, but in different categories.
The line from Bob Dylan was, "When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing at all."
Oh, okay, I stand corrected.
No, what I didn't. I butchered it anyway. But no, to your point, Brad, here's what's interesting. So is Jalon Daniels watching tape this week of West Virginia's defense and going, this is exactly what I need? And on the other side, are West Virginia's defensive backs going, oh, this is exactly.
You want to throw me a couple?
Throw me a couple of those. I'll take care. Right? Someone's getting excited right now, and someone's not going to be happy. Someone's going to leave happy. Someone's going to go like.
And it's amazing psychology experiment too, because if I'm the coach on each side of that, that's what I'm saying. If I'm West Virginia's coaches, I'm saying to these D-backs, all right, you're going to get it fixed this week. You're going to eat. He's going to throw you a couple balls. You got to pick it. He hasn't been reading the defense well. If I'm Jeff Grimes, offensive coordinator for Kansas, I'm saying to Daniels, okay, here's where we get well. You're fine. You're fine. Those throws are going to find their way. You're a really good quarterback. You can throw it. You're going to have success against these guys that have been struggling against everybody. But the actual guys playing, you can say that all you want, right? You can say that all you want to Jalon Daniels. Does he believe it? Does he believe it? Or does he think, is he going, well, I mean, I hear you, coach, but I don't know. Same on the West Virginia side. I think this is an unbelievably intriguing game here.
If you're them, what would you do with Jalon Daniels?
Run
him.
I would run it.
Right. His greatest strength is that. So when he does pass it, I put him in super safe pass situations. I don't have him slinging it downfield. You take a look at where his interceptions have come from. When is it? When he's throwing heaters down, he's throwing absolute heaters down. Well, you'll get into that with your numbers.
We'll get into that because I got some interesting numbers because that is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've been trying that.
Yeah.
That hasn't worked.
Yeah, I get it.
Lance Leipold also said this week, we need to get back to doing what Jalon does well.
Run.
You're going to get a heavy dose of running, which has also been an issue for West Virginia's defense. Quarterbacks running. Not just designed runs, but scrambling. I've got some numbers on that as well.
And to add another dimension to that, they will occasionally run off the option, which is a problem. I mean, it's not just the quarterback running, but an option. Now you got a whole assignment thing you got to worry about. So, yeah, he's very dangerous with his feet. And he was hurting. Look, he was doing that against UNLV. They should have won the UNLV game.
So everything he does well, I mean, he's basically a clone of Garrett Green, right? It's the same style of player. Guys that can hurt you with their legs, guys that can hurt you with their arms when they are on, right? That's the interesting part of this game.
So there's a parallel track there. West Virginia, and I'm not sure we've talked about it enough or as much because of the glaring troubles on defense, but West Virginia's not taking care of the ball either. Now, they're not getting takeaways, which hurts your turnover margin, obviously. Hoppy's obvious observation coming from me.
Yep.
You're not getting takeaways, but West Virginia's putting the ball on the ground too much, too many fumbles, throwing too many interceptions, more so. I'll get some of those numbers as well. I mean, I got a million numbers on this, on these angles, but West Virginia's offense that really probably did enough to win the Pitt game if you get a stop, but also just needed one more block and you get that first down, and the offense could have put that game away against Pitt. So the offense still hasn't got back to the level where it was midseason or on last year, and it's still early. So it has time to get on track. But I also think there's some defensive adjustments that teams have made. They're not letting West Virginia get over the top on them like they were. So West Virginia's having to work underneath. It's almost a Pat Mahomes defense, right? Like, okay, we know Garrett Green can throw it deep and do it well. We're not going to let you do that. You show us if you can drive the ball down the field with 10 or 11 or 12 play drives. You did that against Penn State. You did march all the way down the field, right? 3 drives of 10 plays or more, but they didn't end in touchdowns. So that was part of it. So is this West Virginia offense ready to break? Is it break out, I should say? Is it ready to break out? Is it ready to hit a couple of those big plays? Are you ready to cash in on some of those long drives against a Kansas defense that is playing well, but I think West Virginia has the ability to be the best offense that Kansas team has faced if it keeps a hold of the ball?
Getting ready for Spreads on Stats. As we record Thursday afternoon,
live,
unconfirmed reports have an armada of pontoon boats on the Mississippi River, bringing the Kansas football team toward Morgantown.
How did they get to the Mississippi?
It's a circuitous route. They've done it.
I
think they picked it up in St. Louis, somewhere around there, Missouri.
I guess you could.
Yeah, sure you could.
Head up to Iowa, pick it up too.
Yeah, you can pick it up there.
So go to the Ohio River and then go to Pittsburgh. And
so here's the question. If the transportation now for these teams coming to play West Virginia, Lou Wendell pontoons, why wouldn't you want a Lou Wendell pontoon? They are, and this is all kidding aside, the premier pontoon boat dealer in the great state of West Virginia. They sell Avalon pontoon boats, which are manufactured 100% here in the United States. And besides pontoons, hey, man, they've been in business for nearly 50 years. They got other kinds of ocean craft. How about the Gator Tough John series, the G3s, those G3 John boats? They're super, super nice. Look at that bad boy right there if you're watching in at home. I mean, that's a boat that'll take you places. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Take you places.
Go fishing.
Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales. If you want to go to the bricks and mortar location, that is located in St. Albans, you can visit them at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. Pre-game meal for every team that comes into Morgantown are Tudor's biscuits. More on that.
I don't think that's right.
Nah, I mean, we got a crack staff out there of researchers. They're getting to get back to us on that, but we'll talk more about that.
Did you not bring one in today?
You're hungry? Yeah. I'm sorry.
I know that surprises you.
I did not have time. You're all with your food management. Wow. It's show 580.
576.
Your food management, not any better than it was episode 1.
That's really bad. Really, really bad.
Agree.
Tudor's Biscuits, they are expanding the franchises. You know, there's over 74 locations. That's a lot of biscuits.
That is.
That's a lot of flour, a lot of biscuits, a lot of ham.
Eggs.
A lot of eggs.
Buttermilk.
And if you're interested in joining the Tudor's Biscuit World family, you can check them out.
Coffee.
Over 40 years of success, fast casual chain specializing in those made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits.
Cheese.
Friday.
Homemade breakfast items. Thousands of daily customers across 4 states. If you're interested, contact Tudor's Biscuit World. You ready? You're ready. You're ready. It is time. We promoted it.
Rolls right through.
Let's just. I'm not even listening to you guys.
Well, that's something new.
Yeah, that's shocking.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes the heater. Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
It's become the most factual segment on Three Guys Before the Game.
And that's not hard.
It's the segment. Oh, boy. It's the this is the segment that other podcasts listen to and they steal our numbers.
Sure. Because it goes deep.
In basketball, it happens all the time. Seriously. That is not a joke. Conley CPA Group does provide value beyond the numbers. They provide full accountancy, audit and assurance, tax planning, preparation. And keep this in mind. They become your partner if you're a business owner and they say like, they'll say it nicer than I do, but they'll go like, that's not really what you want to do. What you want to do is this because you save this. Mm-hmm. They'll come in, they'll remote in, and they can do your accounting for your business, whatever way you want to do it. You want to have a little bit of your accounting done internally by your folks, but say, hey, handle a portion of this. They can do that as well. They can also provide Chief Financial Officer Services, also known in the biz as CFO. It's Conley CPA Group. Oh, I posted that bad boy.
Well done.
Nice. Thank you very much. Now, are the numbers starting to mature?
Getting there, but not yet. Not yet, because you still have so much variance in who teams have played and their strengths. So, no, we're not there yet. But as we've said through the years, each year that goes on, you start to get a little more consistency in the numbers. But some really interesting ones this week. You ready?
Yep.
Hit us.
All right, let's start with those Daniels turnover issues that we've discussed.
Daniels Men's Store turnovers?
No, not Daniels Men's Store, although he's got some more new West Virginia stuff in there.
Newer stuff?
Every week. It's every week he does that. So I go in every Tuesday for my shift. Right? I think I've seen everything in the store, folded about everything that's in there,
right.
Dressed multiple mannequins.
Yeah.
New stuff keeps coming out.
So if we go over there as part of the food court this weekend, you'll see new gear.
If I were coming into town, I would make a stop there.
Okay, go ahead.
Not Daniels Men's Store, but Jalon Daniels. Turnover issues against this West Virginia pass defense. There's only one player in the country that's thrown more picks than Jalon Daniels.
Really?
Wow.
It's incredible.
As a team, Kansas has 2 or more turnovers in 5 of its last 6 games.
Going back to last year, right?
West Virginia's pass defense, I think I have this right, 8 touchdowns allowed, no picks.
That's not good.
8 passing touchdowns, no picks. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so let's talk about this Kansas passing game because I know what West Virginia fans are saying. I assume I know what they're saying because I'm saying it, Hoppy.
Okay.
I would have preferred Daniels not have 3 picks in each of the last 2 games.
Right, spread it out.
Right? Would have preferred he come into this game and throw a couple picks, because now you're going, oh, is this when he's going to get right? You don't like that. Their offense, though, is trying to protect him some. And again, we've talked about the change in offensive coordinator. So they're in essence running the same scheme, but it's a different dude. Andy Kotelnicki, we've said his name more on this podcast than we've said Neil Brown. Andy Kotelnicki, Hop at Penn State, right? Was at Kansas. Now enter Jeff Grimes. But here's what's interesting. They have their lowest air yards per attempt since at least 2016 in terms of throwing the ball down the field. Yards per attempt for Daniels right now, 6.4, which is last in the Big 12. Yeah. So they're not taking shots down the field, and part of that's because when they have, those have turned into picks. So you look at those numbers plus the interceptions, and that's telling me they don't have a ton of confidence in their passing game right now. Daniels had a stretch, did include some drops against Vegas. It was a 1 of 10 passing stretch, one completion, 10 attempts. Side note, he has 3 fumbles as well. So, Hop, we generally mention turnovers, but don't lead with turnovers because it's an obvious key. If you're going to struggle in the turnover department, you're probably not going to win. Kansas, example 1, West Virginia, example 2, right? But this, to me, is first and foremost on the list. Both of these teams have to get it together when it comes to turning the ball over. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be a massive part of this game. But here's the other part that's interesting. Jalon Daniels has also been responsible for 31% of the pressures opposing defenses have been credited with. There's only 11 quarterbacks that have a higher percentage among guys that have taken 10 snaps or more.
So you're saying he's walking into pressure?
No, he's not walking into pressure, but he may be holding it a little bit too long. He's not escaping pressure enough. He's the one, they're saying the offensive line's been holding the blocks long enough to give you time to throw it, but you're not throwing it. So keep an eye on that in this game. We saw West Virginia's pressure be outstanding against Pitt. I think you're getting a better offensive line in Kansas than you had against Pitt. We identified that in our Pitt preview, that you would have spots to go get pressure. You did, and added some to that. This game, keep an eye on the left tackle and the right guard for Kansas. Those have been the 2 areas of pressure, but not huge percentages, but those have been the susceptible areas. But Daniels has been the one that's responsible for most. So can you get to him? Now, flip it over to this KU rush offense, because this is the part that should scare you. Should scare you that he gets on track and makes some throws here. The second part is this KU rush offense, where he is really dynamic. And as we mentioned, all due respect to Holstein and Aller, this is a different dude when it comes to running the football. He's not in the same class as those guys. 3 of the top 7 run blocking grades in the Big 12 come from Kansas offensive linemen. So we've said they've given up some pressure there, but they are run blocking really well. Daniels averaging 6 yards per carry. So can you contain, Hop, here's where we get specific. You ready?
Yes.
Can you contain the right edge in particular, the right edge of the defense? His big plays have been on the runs to that side, which would make sense. Right-handed quarterback, if he's flushed, he's probably going to want to run right and get around the edge. 10 yards per carry on those type of runs, and both of his rushing touchdowns. Nearly 1/3 of his carries are scrambles. So he's going to take off in a passing situation. Is he more prone to do that now with the passing struggles? Does he just say, okay, forget about it, I'm just tucking it and going? That could be a problem. As we mentioned, Holstein for Pitt had 83 yards on scrambles, 10 yards per carry on quarterback scrambles. Still mind-blowing that was the number. Drew Aller, who's not known as a runner and didn't run all of last year, 44 yards, 8 yards per carry. 60% of Aller's rushing yards this season have come on scrambles against West Virginia. 60% of his yards. So there's a Kansas offense. Defensively, let's look at West Virginia for just a second.
May I interject?
Sure.
I think one of the interesting dynamics with what you just said is where is Jalon Daniels' head? And by that I mean this. You said a significant portion of his runs on plays that were designed to be passes, right?
So scrambles, yeah.
Scrambles. So here it is. If he's trying to show himself to be an NFL quarterback, he wants to throw it more than he wants to run it, even though running it may be the smarter move. Follow me? So the balance and the battle that goes on internally is, if it's a called pass, does he want to show that he can complete the pass, or does he play selflessly and say, I'm better off to scoot and go? That's a big part of this.
Tony, I hear you, and that's a valid point. I would be less worried about his head and just more worried about his feet. I mean, the fact that watching some of the highlights of those games, and this, you guys have alluded to this. I mean, the guy can scoot, and if he gets on the edge, it's a problem. West Virginia, as Brad just said, was unable to stop quarterbacks who aren't very mobile and still got big gainers. Now you got a guy who's a legitimate runner.
See, I think I describe him, follow me. Now, again, I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying that he can have an impact like a Donovan McNabb. When he's perfect, when Jalon Daniels is playing elite football for him, he's McNabb-esque. Agree?
I think he runs better.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I think he runs better.
I was going to go major. A little. I mean, he's got major ability. Again, if he's throwing the ball well, he's got that same kind of dynamic ability just to kill your defense and deflate your defense by making plays that weren't designed to be runs.
It's a fascinating X and O matchup, though, too, because if you're Kansas, what do you say here is you always want to attack what the other team doesn't do well. West Virginia's not covering the pass well, but you're not throwing it well. West Virginia stopped the run pretty well. You run it pretty well. Like, what do they want to do here? Devin Neal, we haven't talked about him. Yeah. We'll spend some more time on him. I mean, he's fantastic, right? One of the best backs in this league, one of the better ones in the nation. So Devin Neal's somebody you've got to contend with. But West Virginia's been pretty good against the run so far, including against two studs from Penn State. Singleton got loose for that big giant run, but you managed, other than that, to hold him in check. Reed, you handled him in check last week against Pitt, so you've done pretty well in that area. So how does Kansas decide to react? Do they try and say, you can't stop anybody through the air, we're going to throw on you? But they're a little nervous about that. I'm fascinated to watch that. One guy defensively, let's call out, again, we mentioned this a lot on Sunday. TJ Jackson's off to a heck of a start. He's having a really good year. Mentioned that he had 4 tackles for loss against Pitt, the most of any West Virginia player since 2018. He's also second in the Big 12 in quarterback hurries and total pressures. So he's turned into a playmaker along that defensive line.
Newcomer of the week in the Big 12.
He was. Flip over to the other side. Let's talk Kansas defense for just a second against a West Virginia offense that, while at times has looked good, I don't think it feels as elite as maybe we thought it was going to be this early. It's got to clean some stuff up as well. Kansas likes its defensive line so far. Here's a couple guys to watch. Edge rusher Jeremy Robinson. He leads their team in pressures with 12. He's really good from the right side of their defense. But that should be okay. You've got to go against Wyatt Milam on the other side, although both West Virginia tackles are playing extremely well. I'll get to that in a minute. Watch Tommy Dunn, sits right in the middle of that Kansas defensive line, so he's been a factor so far. They like how he's playing. They're getting this West Virginia offensive line that is playing really, really well, guys. 5 of West Virginia's top 7 offensive grades are from the offensive line. Nick Malone at the highest grade. An 85. 65-ish his average. He's at an 85.
Amazing. He's from over the bridge over at the high school.
He is, and he's playing extremely well. He has stepped right into that role. Wyatt Milam is 9th nationally among offensive tackles when it comes to pressures allowed. But how about this? Jaquay is top 20 among right guards.
That's
our guy's
That's
playing.
Our guy. It's our guy. 66
playing.
in your 66 game roster, 1 in your heart.
Malone, 8th among right tackles. So this line's playing really well, Hop, including, you go back and watch some of the end of that game on that second to last drive where West Virginia just needed a first down and couldn't get there. Mm-hmm. It was not the offensive line. It was not the offensive line. In fact, on that third down pass, that pocket they created was tremendous. CJ stepped over, picked up a blitz. So this line is doing what you hoped it would do. You've just got to now take advantage of this.
It's just too bad that Milam held that guy.
Don't get us started on that. Don't get us started. All right, here's something else to watch.
Boy. Oh, brother.
Malone and Milam are both top 10 in the Big 12 in run blocking grade. Remack is right there. He's top 15 in run blocking grade. Yates just behind Remack. So your line's doing it. Now it's a matter of, I think, a couple things for West Virginia offensively. Garrett. Can Garrett get out and run a little bit? Can he avoid? Are they spying? Are they going too deep safeties to prevent those big plays? Can Garrett now tuck it and go a little bit more than we've seen him do so far? Can that running game carry you? Can you find some receivers to step up? Hop, somebody's got to emerge as a number one receiver here.
Somebody's got to get open.
Who's your one? You got to get open and you got to be able to find them. So I'm anxious to watch this offense go against what's been a pretty good defense. One other note on West Virginia's offense. Talk about being aggressive. Lead the nation in fourth down conversions. 9 of them in just 3 games.
Say that again.
West Virginia leads the country in fourth down conversions. 9 in just 3 games. Here's what may be more impressive. 9 on 11 attempts. 9 conversions on 11 attempts. That's 82%. The only teams with a better conversion percentage on fourth down all have just 6 attempts or less. So that's been a nice bullet in the chamber of this offense that needs to keep drives going.
And that's an impressive stat. Also, it was there by necessity too. I mean, you had to go. I mean, he comes up fourth down on the 35, game on the line. Go for it.
I don't know. He was aggressive against Pitt. There were a couple 4th and 5s.
Yeah,
I mean, you know me.
Yeah.
On our broadcast, I'm like always, go, go, go. Why aren't you going? Go for it. Always go for it. And I was going, well, I don't know. Should you go for it here? Are you trying? I mean, so they were aggressive against Pitt.
Yeah.
All right. I got a million more, but that'll suffice for now.
Impressive.
After you digest those digits, where do you lean?
Flip a coin. Flip a coin. I think this is, and which is, if you look at those models that exist out there, I look at 3 or 4 a week. They're all within a point or 2 here. So just flip it, because it's nearly impossible to handicap turnovers, and that's such a massive part for both of these teams.
Here's a stat for you.
Is this an HOO?
I got this from CBS Sports, Ben Kercheval. So far this season, teams ahead by 10 with 4 minutes to go are 150-0.
Say that again.
No, that's not right.
Say that again.
That's not right?
No, because West Virginia.
Because West Virginia has a loss.
We lost.
I'm sorry. Well, we're 150-0
up until last Saturday.
Until last Saturday.
Thanks, Hopp. Appreciate that number.
Well, it's just, I mean.
Well, if you look at the percentage of victory, it was 99%. Right to the end. You know who also had one of those last week was TCU. Yeah. They were running 99% win, and then didn't happen. The UCF's got them.
Hold on. Can I do 2 more?
Yeah.
You haven't hit the outro music yet, have you?
No, we're still on live.
We're still in the Conley CPA spreads on stats segment.
They're still buying it.
2 more.
Go ahead.
Let's go ahead and just unload a bunch of stuff here. Talking about Garrett throwing the ball downfield. Our defense is preventing that with the style that they're using. 7.5 yards per attempt so far for Garrett. That's down a full yard from last season. So we just haven't seen that big over the top. Can someone shake loose behind this defense and hit a big play? Got to have a receiver get down there and get open. So far, almost every time you see West Virginia's receivers running deep, there's somebody stuck to their hip. Got to get somebody loose. There's another one.
There's been a few long ones that were catchable.
You want to know who else you want to see get loose? Who else would you like to see get loose from this offense?
Anyone.
I'm indifferent. Doesn't matter to me if it's a ball boy.
Well, who's the most likely one to get loose in space on this offense?
Gallagher?
Traylon
Ray? You guys are overthinking it. Jaheim White.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about passes.
I thought you were about to talk about
like to get Jaheim White going. In 2024, this season so far through 3 games, only 27% of his yards have come on runs of 15 yards or more. Talk about a big play offense, right? Only 27%. Last year, 55% of his yards came on runs of 15 yards or more. So that's a guy hopefully you can get cranked up, get him to the edge, get him to pop a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I think that's it.
Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide value beyond numbers. Check them out, Conley CPA Group. 3 Guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems. If you're a business owner, shame on you if you've been delaying the install of a new business phone system. Why?
Well, don't shame people.
No, I gotta shame them. Shame on you. Small s, not a capital S. But it's time. I mean, it's time. That business phone system is competitively priced at Comax Business Systems. They'll come in and do a free estimate. Even if you don't buy now, you'll find out what they can do for you, and they have state-of-the-art. You can purchase, lease, or rent your hardware. The sound is there, and you can keep track where your folks are, whether they're in Weirton or Welch, Martinsburg or Matewan, all points in between. Muddledy,
Nettie.
Charmco.
I was driving back from there a couple of weeks ago, and I meant to try to memorize a couple of those other small communities. Now I've forgotten.
I've done the same thing driving down. I said I want to go like voice to text. You'll just keep writing the list as you go down there. Well, we got a big weekend planned. I mean, besides this football game, this is going to be a big, memorable weekend, and we're going to celebrate it with you. Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com. Yeah, this is the place where you can go and check out merchandise, our shirts, and the hat that is ready to be available. Now, I think the hat that Kirchenbaum, take your headsets off for a second, because you can't see the logo really well. Hey, Austin, if you could, cut to a shot on Skippy over here. Okay, tilt your head just down a little bit. I want him to see that. Yeah, got that sweet 3 guys, 3G on there off center, which is kind of neat. Right. Center, are those available in person at the food court?
Yeah, here's the thing. Episode 800 has a lot of great stuff, coffee, the shirts, all that. I don't know that the hats are going to make it there. This first run,
yeah,
they'll be available at the food court coming up on Saturday. Might want to get you one there.
Okay, so for those of you that are coming in, here's the deal. We are opening the food court earlier than usual. Friday, the 20th of September, instead of 4 o'clock, we're opening up at noon. Noon, the food court will be open. And for lunch, Rev Kev is serving 2 things. Sausage and pepper hoagies with provolone cheese, $10 American, and beef tenderloin hoagies with peppers, onions, and provolone for $10 American. Also, later in the day, pork belly BLTs. The pork belly comes from Snake River in Idaho. That's with tomato, lettuce, mayo on a Hawaiian bun. And nachos. They've created a special Bill Stewart, Leave No Doubt nacho. You pick your own meat, and it comes with queso, sour cream, green onions for $10 American. Then the full batch of everything Rev Kev does, the brisket, the pulled pork, and the chicken available. Now, our buddy Duca from the wine bar, lunchtime tomorrow, he'll be set up, going to do, what do we call the fried stuff? The
cracklins?
The cracklins.
Those are really
you had
good.
those, Hop?
I haven't.
Oh, you got to do that.
Is that like
freshly fried pork rinds, right there in front of you.
Those, I like those.
Right there in front of you, and then you get yourself.
Pop them right in.
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow night, so we're going to go from
Stick them
noon.
right in the bag, just start eating them.
We're going to go from noon till about 9 or 10 tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night
I think he has his world famous meatballs there too.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to do them for lunch, but they'll be available throughout the weekend. Now, tomorrow night, 6:30, live music. Kagan McLean will do an acoustic set. Songs from his recently released album entitled Old Flame, which is interesting because that's what a lot of people called Hoppy. Also, the beer is back from Parkersburg Brewing.
There we go.
Connection 304. And Austin, if you would, you can roll through some of those photographs. And well, that's my house. That's actually my
That's you? You did that?
I did that. Yeah, I didn't know
like
that.
a plate of broccoli and a beer?
That was pasta, broccoli, and a Connection 304. Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't realize that was
the party's
coming up.
going to your house later?
Well, I mean, yeah. So there you go. So there's Connection 304.
Right now.
So yeah, available at the food court. It's out there from Parkersburg Brewing, and they're getting it in.
I'm sorry, real quick. At the food court, it's available on draft and cans. Yeah, so you can grab them and take them to your tailgate.
Yes, you can.
Correct.
You can buy them by that. So let me tell you this.
Nice
Or the Parkersburg Brewing folks will pour you one.
Correct. But here's where it is.
Get you a nice pour.
Here's just a few. It's going to be in the Gomart Flatwoods. It's going to be at the Varsity Club in Draft here, Mountain State Brewing here. The Wine Bar has it at Draft. Ashbrook Liquor Mart on Beechhurst, selling it by the cans if you're coming in. Taters Pub and Grub, Morgantown Flour and Feed, Kegler's Sports Lounge.
They've got it on tap.
Dougie Moore over there.
Dougie, of course, takes care of it. Yeah.
Levels Arcade and Bar, Iron Horse Tavern, they all have it now available.
Levels, that's right
Those are
around
just
the
a few of the places
go after
where
the show.
Connection 304 is
See
going.
that from here. That's a lot of stops there.
Yeah. So far,
we got to get it at the official Three Guys bar, the Apothecary. It's not at the Apothecary yet?
I don't know. I don't see that name listed.
Call Grace.
I don't see that name listed.
Have Homeless Dave get in touch with Grace.
Well, he's busy. He's got a lot of things. Got a lot of things going on.
Joe's Globe's on it. Distributor's on it.
Yeah, Joe's Globe. They're terrific.
He just named you how many places here in Morgantown.
I know. I just think that's
just
Grace's. It's just across the street. It's
named you a bunch.
Well, I mean,
Levels is right around the corner.
I mean, you got a lot of
true. I go right over there.
You got a lot of suggestions over there. Well, you got Mr. Suggestion over there. Why don't you walk your ass over there and ask her if she wants a beer?
Varsity Club right across from the stadium.
Dave's out there trying to save the free world. I mean, Hoppy wants to go.
Oh, I'm going to be 60,000, 50,000, 45,000, however many people are going to be there right by Varsity Club. Just walk over and get you one.
Well,
walk the other way to the food court, get you one right there.
Okay.
It's available.
I mentioned it. I was just wondering about
handle distribution. You want to get involved in the distribution process, we can get you a job.
No, that's fair. I don't want to be involved at all. I just want to show up, so that's fair.
Give the guy a free hat. All of a sudden, he becomes Bill Gates.
Trying to run the whole operation here.
There's a distribution, warehousing, logistics.
I want to talk about distribution. I'm not satisfied with our distribution.
All right, here we go. Textual Healing. Jacob Lewis writes in from Fraser's Bottom. I'm a first-time texter, long-time listener. Things have gone downhill since we got rid of the glossy blue helmets.
Correlation, not causation.
There's a group there that loves those glossy helmets. By the way,
you think the matte finish has led to the downfall?
Jacob there, he'll be happy to know the baseball team going with glossy finishes on their batting helmets this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jed Jerko back over in the program?
He is. How great is that?
Yeah.
Great hire by old Steve Sabins there.
By the way, if you're coming into the game for the weekend, Friday night, which is tomorrow night, 20 September, 6 o'clock, 6:30, Mountaineer baseball team inter-squad scrimmage, free admission into the stadium. They're going to have it's fun time. Really super chilled out and relaxed if you want to go see the Mountaineer baseballers tomorrow night.
That is pretty cool of Jed, too, wanting to be back involved and help. I talk about a wealth of knowledge. You think those guys want to listen to a guy played almost 10 in the show?
Yeah, I think that'll help.
Got a road named after him?
Got a road named after him. Averaged over 400 as a Mountaineer player. Played 8 years in the show. That's a good run. What?
Hoppy's got a road named after him in the Eastern Panhandle. No outlet. Texter, for Brad Howe, more likely licking the pit wounds, not quite over that loss yet, but I turned the page in Kansas. Kansas and West Virginia's seasons mirror each other. Our losses were to better Power 4 teams than their Illini and Nevada defeats. Both teams have
Nevada, UNLV.
Yeah, same thing. Both teams have failed to meet expectations, which mean what happens Saturday could determine the direction of the rest of the season, making it a desperate game for both teams. 1-3 is a light year from 2-2. Yeah. Okay, this is your boy, I think. Is this your boy? Yeah, this is Doug in Bridgeport. So he put some hypotheticals in here. I would hit a couple of these, Brad. Ready? Listen. Is it more likely that West Virginia can hold them below 200 yards rushing or that West Virginia gives up 225 passing?
Say that again.
More likely you hold them under 200 rushing or that you give up over 225 passing.
So what this is, Hop, each week on Sportsline, we'll do a more likely scenario like this. Which of the two scenarios is more likely to happen, in your opinion? Doug does a nice job putting some of these together.
I think more likely that you hold them to under 200 yards rushing because in 3 games they got 738. Wait a minute, 246. Wait a minute, that's over 200. Yeah. Oops, my math is wrong. I don't know. What's the answer there?
I don't know. Got to look at it.
Texter. Same one. Is it more likely that West Virginia goes for over 175 on the ground and control the game, or that we hold Devin Neal to 75 yards or less of rushing? I think you need 175 for West Virginia on the ground to be.
I'd like to have a little more.
Well, I'm saying at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Is it more likely that Garrett Green completes 65% of his passes and throws for 200, or that Kansas gets on the right side of the turnover battle for the first time?
65% would be nice. It's so far been elusive for G. Green.
Yeah, I'd go for the 65%.
Every day.
Kansas has lost the turnover battle every game, including the one that they won. Jalon Daniels has thrown a pick in each game. We haven't had a pick. The immovable force meets the irresistible object. Doug closes his sermon The game is a perfect get-right for West Virginia. They run it well but can't throw it. We stop the run and need work defending the pass. If we don't give this game away, we win, and we have them here. Brad, use this or not any way you see fit. So he gave you carte blanche.
Thank you, Deb.
By the way, we've done a horrifically bad job.
Of what?
On Parkersburg Brewing.
What do you mean?
At times on this program in its history, we may have over-touted something, maybe exaggerated.
What do you mean, the royal we?
You.
It's
a good point, Hop.
Yeah.
Probably not a we.
In all seriousness, we kid around sometimes and use the word world champion. I knew this, but I forgot. In all seriousness, Parkersburg Brewing, who makes our beer, Connection 304, they won a World Beer Cup, World Championship in 2018 in a competition. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
They actually have a world champion beer.
So you combine that with a world champion biscuit.
This is a world champion show. All we're doing. Ted in Warrington, Virginia, also known as the train guy. I'm checking in from Ocean Course at Kiowa Island for a work event.
Yeah, work.
Naturally, my caddy, he's a 2020 WVU grad from Beckley. He's also a Three Guys listener. Hoping you can shout him out as we both try and overcome the pit depression.
That's a beautiful course. I'm doing it wrong. I went to Kiowa Island this summer, didn't get to a course.
Excuse me?
Was there for a work function, didn't get to a course.
Well, when you stay for more than 4 hours, you can get on the course. You and Neil buzzed down there on big timers, in, out.
What was that for?
Speaking thing.
He flew him down in the morning and came back. He was here by 2 o'clock. Back by 2.
Who was speaking, you or Neil?
Both. Thank you.
Wasn't aware of that.
He got a big paycheck on that. They'd asked for you, and he said, Hoppy's unavailable.
Beautiful Kiowa Island.
Oh, yeah.
Saw the ocean for a minute and a half.
Texter.
Went right into a conference room.
Three Guys, I need you to effort on this.
Great time, though.
Can you confirm or deny that West Virginia also has received this name, image, and likeness deal from Tudor's Biscuit World? Roll that bean video, please.
But I feel good about the track we're on, and I feel good about the players we have. Would love to have some of those guys from Ohio State, too. So if they want to transfer on down, we've got a Tudor's Biscuit NIL, all you can eat. So if any of those guys that run really, really fast at Ohio State like Tudor's Biscuits, I promise you, all you can eat all day if you transfer here. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's Marshall coach Charles Huff, and he let it be known that anyone wants to go there, they get unlimited Tudor's Biscuits. I think we can open, Three Guys can also open that deal up, right?
The challenge of that, though, is we've often discussed, what's all you can eat mean? Is it like 1.5 and then you're full because they're so damn big?
Well,
he was on my public affairs program.
You still do that show?
I do, Mondays and Thursdays.
Cool.
And he kind of said, I was just joking. And I guess, like, in today's, you can't say anything anymore.
Why? How did he get in trouble?
I don't know, but it felt like he was, kind of back. He was just joking. And
well, it's a funny line.
It is.
It's a funny line. Yeah, but we also strongly, we strongly support tutors providing biscuits for NIL opportunities. Linemen would definitely be able to eat 2. Kickers, they're probably down to 1, probably 1 Mountaineer biscuit. And
I don't know. Our guy Ollie likes to eat. He did a nice job when he was in here with us.
He did.
Those sausage rolls had some breading to them.
Yeah.
He took those right down.
I saw his parents before they went back home. They saw the Pitt game last week, and I had to think they had to be thrilled when he faked that punt.
Absolutely.
Tavon Straw.
Tavon Straw. Pac-Man Straw. Gentlemen, since my first text was the first one Tony read last show, I am declaring myself a P1 listener. It also helps soften the blow you 3 delivered on my birthday last year when you refused to let me crash at your houses after the Charles Wesley Godwin concert in December. Hoppy's words, that's a hard no. Still ring in my ears and haunt my sleep. I think, is this the real reason homeless Dave is homeless? I am now ready to bury the hatchet and move on. Kansas awaits, and I've got a good feeling we'll straighten things out Saturday, signed by P1 Scott in Stafford. I do remember when you said that. That's a hard no. Texter, I love you guys, but you have to do one thing for me. You have to stop with this wildly unscientific postulating that because we won or lost to a certain team in a certain year in the third game determines what outcome is for the year. It doesn't help anything, and it's just not correct. It doesn't even reach the level of causation or correlation. Signed, Cletus in Charleston.
Who's he talking to? Us?
You all did that on Sportsline, didn't you?
What did we say that if you're
What did we say?
If you're 1-3, we were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the last time West Virginia went 1-3, they went 1-4 and finished 8-5.
What year was that? Mid-'80s?
Rich was was it either 03 or 05?
Wait, so I'm confused. Who said?
I don't know.
Who said because they lost to Pitt that's going to do the rest?
Doesn't matter.
I don't understand.
Was that when Pat White started playing
No,
quarterback?
that was when we got rolling, and then Maryland beat us in the bowl game. But we had a streak together of 7 in a row. I looked it up. It was 05, was it? 05 or 03?
I'll look it up.
It might be 03.
Look it up.
Matt from Scranton, PA, first time, long time. I was listening to your Pitt review, and one thing stuck out. On a game-by-game basis, players need to make plays is undoubtedly true. The Pitt game not played in a vacuum, though. If a team is consistently underperforming the standard 5 or 6 out of 6 years, it's no longer the guys you have just don't make the right plays. It's either a failure of recruiting, development, or game management. Never ranked during the season. 2-14 against the top 25. Conference record 20-24. Overall 32-31. 6 games under 500 against Power 4. I know that you guys made that comment within the context of the Pitt game, and I think what you said was true regarding that. The big picture, though, the problem is that the Pitt game was not an aberration. It is the new norm. Love the pod. Appreciate you guys. Just feel I digress with that assessment. Well, I would say to you, to your point, you're right. The Pitt game was one game. Let's let the thing play out. And let's just, I'm totally with you, but let's take the number look after it's all over. So let's not think that the complete meal is cooked here. Let's see what they do in the next 9 games.
It was 2003, Tony, you're right.
Yeah.
Started out with a loss to Wisconsin, beat East Carolina, lost to Cincinnati, lost to Maryland, lost to second-ranked Miami, then got on a roll. Rutgers, Virginia Tech, UCF, Boston College, Pitt, Syracuse, Temple, all wins. Rich is in a tough one right now. They got Southern Miss this weekend, and they have had a bad start. Have they? I think they're 0-3. I got to check and see who was on that 2003 team. Texter.
Rashid.
Is that Rashid? Hall of Famer Rashid Marshall?
Correct. Texter, just watch the Falcons
Quincy.
Just watch the Falcons go 80 yards and 4 passing plays in 1 minute against the Eagles' professional secondary defenders. So why is everyone offended when this happens against amateur college players? People need to get real. Signed by Grayson in Hilltop. Texter, like they say on The Bear, every second counts. A football game, 3,600 seconds. In the 7,200 seconds West Virginia has faced Pitt and Penn State, 30 seconds at the end of the first half killed the Penn State game, and the last 240 seconds of the Pitt game caused the loss. 96% of the seconds played, Mountaineers were winning or competing to win. Coaches need to get these players focused on every second this week because that Kansas QB can put a TD on the board in a matter of a second. Without more focus, he will. Texter, as your official podcast historian, here is a summary of episode number 574 in haiku form. Gomart, best service. Big Brad wants Reese Cup now. Who wouldn't comply? P.S. The fellow with the list of WVU-themed dog names forgot my 3 favorites. Doghannes Hair Bear.
Oh, that's really good.
Aubrey Barks. Rodney Growliger. I love the show. Pete from Pennsboro. Those are really good. By the way, speaking of Johannes Hair Bear, in town this weekend to be celebrated with the Elite 8 basketball team, the 20th anniversary. Great to see. It'll be great to see Joe. Did you follow up on trying to get Coach Beeline at Three Guys Tailgate? I've not efforted that yet, but I think I can do that.
Okay. That 2003 team has a pretty good team. A lot of players on that, by the way.
Texter, at what point will you guys stop defending him? It's his 6th season. It's his recruiting class. It's his offense, his defense, his play calling, his game management. He is ultimately responsible for the Mountaineers being left out of the top 25 since 2018. He had his chance. It's on him. If this team doesn't win at least 7 or 8 games, he needs to go.
Look, I understand the dissatisfaction. The Pitt loss is devastating in so many ways, and an athletic director, if he or she is doing their job, they're constantly evaluating the state of in every program. That evaluation, they cannot afford to be emotional. They can't be emotional about it. Fans are expected to be emotional. They will be emotional because they're vested. So an athletics director has to have almost a detached view of it. They can't be too high or too low based on a win or a loss. They have to evaluate the program objectively. And I believe that Ren Baker is in a constant state of doing that. So you're not going to fire the coach after a disappointing couple of losses. You're just not going to do that. It doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense in terms of how you run a program. But this guy, Ren Baker, is on it, and he's in a constant state of evaluation. So, as you've said, Tony, many times, you have to let it play out.
Yeah, see what it does.
You know what's interesting? So I assume if West Virginia beats Kansas this week, it'll be ranked, right? Because that's what happens. Illinois beat Kansas and got ranked, and Illinois' wins are Eastern Illinois and Central Michigan. They got ranked.
Because they beat Kansas when everybody thought Kansas was a big deal.
And then Kansas came out of the rankings. UNLV got the win, and they get ranked. They have wins over Houston, who fired its coach and is rebuilding. Utah Tech and Kansas that wasn't there. So UNLV got ranked. So I assume you get ranked if you beat Kansas.
No, you're not going to be ranked.
Texter.
They got ranked.
No, but that's...
Was the Utah Tech win? Did it for Vegas?
I think
That's
it was.
what got them in.
You know, it's the win when you beat somebody who everybody thinks is good.
Yeah. Didn't think that's how it worked, but okay.
I've had a few days, gentlemen, to digest Saturday's game. I could use one of those Tudor's biscuits to soak up the extra beers I drank Saturday night to numb the pain, but I digress. A few key points that need to be looked at. Garrett isn't running as much as he should. We need him out of the pocket. He's more dynamic there. C.J. Donaldson running stretch and Jaheim running between tackles. A lot of curious play calling.
Except I'll tell you what, that stretch, you get a block, that's a touchdown.
Most concerning, Neil keeps referring to personnel. That's a quick way to lose the locker room. Most guys have been here. The new guys started on decent Power 5 defenses last year. How about the coaching personnel taking accountability? You know it's bad when your coordinator is deleting his Twitter account right after the game. Texter, Connection 304 is an okay name for your new beer, but I think you missed a great opportunity. Why not continue the Kurt Chevelle theme of naming the new beer after one of the Three Guys podcasters? This time around, you could have honored Brad by naming the beer Howdy Doody Appalachian Ale. You've had a catchy, memorable name that was personalized to the Three Guys brand. What's not to love? It just rolls off the tongue, Tony. As an added bonus, there's already another beer named Howdy Beer. You could just steal their marketing campaign, add duty to the logo. You may have even duped some unsuspecting Howdy Beer drinkers into buying Howdy Doody beer. There it is. There are the pictures of Howdy Beer.
No, we honor copyrights here at Three Guys. Don't want to get any legal problems.
Absolutely.
Plus, if you go Howdy, I'm sure somewhere there's a Howdy Doody protected rights thing, and we don't want to do that. Yeah. Plus, Connection 304 is the consistent theme
of the state.
The state.
This is the show that brings the people together across the aisles. Three Guys, here's an update on your over and unders a quarter of the way through the season. Rushing attempts so far. There have been 114 through 3 games. That translates to 456. The trend is toward the under, and Brad was the only one that took the under preseason. Number 2, yes or no to a 1,000-yard rusher. Right now, CJ's on track for 984 would just miss. Team leader for individual sacks, over under 5.5. We all went under. And right now, TJ Jackson's on course for 10. Garrett, big time throws, according to Pro Football Focus, 33.5. I don't have access to Football Focus. He says Brad's going to have to do that one. Cole Taylor catches. He's trending toward 4. I went over. The other 2 guys went under. That's enough of that. Texter. Hello, 2.75 guys. I know it's already been said about the refs in the backyard brawl. I think it was all covered well on the recap. My question, why was the Big 12 crew when it was a non-conference game on the road? Wouldn't that normally be a neutral conference crew? Matt from the Ville. The 2 schools, when they sign the contract to play the game, they decide then which officials are going to be used. So Big 12 on the road up there at Pitt, the ACC fellas were down here last year. That's just the way they did it. They don't cross crew anymore like they used to in the old, very rarely. Like they won't bring an SEC crew in on a full Saturday. I don't think there is that luxury, to be quite honest with you. There's not enough crews. SEC's playing their full schedule. So that's not like the old days of the classic old Southern independent officials. By the way, they would give you some eye-raising calls.
It's very rare when you see the coach of the winning team and the losing team both furious with the officials.
Yeah. Texter, hello. First, I'm a climb truster. I still field the kneel. But the staff teaching the defensive backs not to look back for the ball and keep the eyes on the receiver has been one of my biggest peeves. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick liked the strategy, and some coaches still do. But wide receiver coaches are teaching how to exploit it. I think they're winning. What do you guys think about it? I feel like it's not talked about enough in the college football world. And they sent that there about a simulated. Here's what I think. I don't give a crap if they look at the receiver, look at the quarterback, knock the frickin' ball down.
Knock it down.
I don't care if they go sideways and they got Martian ears on. Knock the ball down. Do your job. Keep it in front of you. Randy from State College writes, can't get much worse.
Oh, yes, it can. It can always get worse. How low can your stock go?
Market was crushing today, huh, Hop?
I know, but I'm saying, how low can it go?
Oh, I understand, Hop. Randy says, can't get much worse. This past Saturday, I'm traveling back from Boise, Idaho to Pitt with a layover in Dallas.
Lovely Boise.
Flight leaves just as the game's about to start. I pay for Wi-Fi so I can watch the game. Shaky first half, Mountaineers rally. I'm feeling good. We're up by 10, 5 minutes to go. At this point, we start the descent into Dallas, and the Wi-Fi gets turned off, under 10,000 feet. No sweat. What can happen? Defense playing well. We're running the ball effectively. I reach the ground. I turn off of the airplane mode so I can watch the finish and share the celebration. Less than a minute left, and I cannot believe what I see. This can't be happening, but it was, and it did. Painful. Some days it really hurts to be a Mountaineer fan. I love the show. There's a picture, Hoppy, of you with these folks.
Oh.
At a recent food court.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice people.
I had two friends of mine who were at the Pitt game, and they said with 5 minutes to go, Pitt fans were leaving.
Leaving? It was done. It was done. It was over. It was done. You can look up the tape. When you're watching the tape of the last 2 drives, it was like they had left. Texter, guys, I have tickets to the Kansas game this weekend, and I'm going with a friend of mine who fancies himself as a Marshall fan. He's never been to Pushkar Stadium before, and I'm wondering, what's the protocol for this situation? Should he support the home team or stay true to his fandom even though they are not playing? Sorry for the long text, but need your help. Keep up the good work. Big O from St. George.
So is the question, should the Marshall fan cheer for West Virginia?
Correct. That's basically the question.
No, it's up to them. It's a personal decision, right?
Yeah, just enjoy the
atmosphere. You don't even have to cheer for it. Just enjoy the event.
If you're coming in Friday, by the way, they're starting to do something that's really neat on Friday nights. They're giving tours of the Pushkar Center.
Oh, are they?
Friday evenings.
Talked to somebody that did that last home game. They were blown away.
Yeah.
Said it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat. You might want to check that out. I shouldn't say that without telling you where to go, but like 6 or 7 o'clock, I think. 7 o'clock maybe they do it. You have any idea, Brett? Look that up, Hoppy. Look up Pushkar Center tours Friday night.
Should be something on the website, wvusports.com, that you can get to and sign up for that.
Efforting.
Ben writes, I recall last year some conversation about the secondary playing a different scheme than they had previously, some sort of hybrid matchup zone. Is this year's team supposed to be running that same scheme? Are there any specific DBs that are being targeted by opposing offenses? Thank you. Yeah, if you remember last year, they made some in-season changes scheme-wise. I think there'll be more.
Efforting on that now.
Coming,
right.
more coming. So I found I got a solution for a past problem that we've had on the podcast.
What's that?
You know how sometimes people write texts that are too long?
Yeah.
So I had this idea today.
Oh, I know what you did.
I copy the text.
Okay.
And I go to ChatGPT and I say, reduce this to 100 words.
Oh, that's a good
Right?
idea. It worked.
Hell of a deal. Sean in Florida. Sean, I love you. But you and Dante have something the same. He wrote the Inferno and you wrote the same length of the Inferno. So I cut it down. He says Mountaineer fans might be looking forward to baseball season, construction underway on a new indoor facility, which along with the turf field should help us compete in warmer weather programs. Growing up in West Virginia, hard to imagine year-round baseball. Here in Central Florida, even the coldest days are better for baseball than Morgantown's early season. When I played, we often had to practice in the gym or muddy ballpark fields. Looking forward to seeing if the program can build on last year's success. Absolutely. Coach Saban's doing a fabulous job. So let's confirm something. You did or did not go and harass the Go-Mart employees again this week?
I did not. Just got gas.
You
did not go inside the store.
Okay, because
I didn't harass them last week either, for the record.
Yeah,
but
you guys,
kind of
Matt and Mark, both
Yeah.
extremely helpful.
19th of September as we record.
Needed help. What should I have done? I wanted to know where the big Reese's were.
But you usually like walk in the door, you come in the door and go, where are the Reese's?
Right, and they immediately answered.
Well, Big Candy's ready to come, Hoppy. It's September 19th. We're 6 weeks away from Halloween. And Go-Mart, hey, man, it's Halloween every single day, 24/7, 365. Check them out. Get your rewards card, and you save on food and fuel. And check them out at gomart.com. Download the app or just go to the website at Go-Mart.
Pretty easy with the gas, too. Just punch your code right in, fill it
Boom, you're in, you're out.
Easy.
Yeah, like Wisconsin. Hey, gentlemen. The coaches talk about playing different dudes Saturday feels familiar. Wasn't it also said after Albany? Tough season ahead. I suggest fans find a second-string hope team to cheer for and ease the stress. I've chosen Nebraska for their tradition and Matt Rule. Lastly, with conference realignment, specific bowl games tied to leagues, could we see bowl matchups between teams from the same conference? How would that affect conference win and loss records? Philip, I'll be quite honest with you, my friend. You got too much time on your hands.
I can't find
I don't
this
know
chart.
how it would affect conference win-loss records. I don't think we'll ever get to that, to be quite honest with you. They won't match conference teams up together. They'll figure something out there.
I can't find this tour.
Okay.
You can find out?
Yeah, let me send a text here real quick.
Well, the Hall of Traditions is open starting 3 hours prior to kickoff.
No, that's not what we want. What time does the tours of the Pushkar Center start on Fridays? And how do people sign up?
Don't forget about the Hall of Fame weekend.
No, we got that. Texter. I wanted to say that I have to keep myself from ordering 2 Mountaineers at Tudor's. I can easily eat 2, but I know that it's best that I don't. Can we still win the Big 12? Is this question? Yeah, mathematically you can.
Yeah.
You've given no indication to this point that you're ready to do that, but could you? Mathematically, yes.
As I said a few minutes ago, go to WVUsports.com. There's a big, giant, huge button. It says Pushkar Center Tours, $25.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then if you click that, it goes right to a button that says Facility Tours.
How did I
And
miss
you can
that?
buy tickets right there on the site.
Hey, great job over there, Scoop.
I don't know. Maybe ask a guy who used to do marketing. Probably can find it for you. Instead of Kirchville over there banging away, Googling things. All due respect to you, of course.
Well, first,
Well, look, since you said all due respect, that's fine.
So just head to the website, wvusports.com, click on football, scroll down a little bit. There's a big button right there. Click it. You can go in and buy your ticket. There you go. Thank you.
my guy says they had between 60 or 70 people for Penn State.
I should do that. I haven't been in there in years.
They don't want you. There's a picture of you. There's a picture of you right there. It says, if you
cannot
see him,
get in.
walk him out.
Well, I'll tell you two things. You'd be completely lost.
Would I? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks.
absolutely.
I mean, it's not even the same building. It's the same footprint, not even the same building. And the stuff down below, we've talked about this before. The recovery stuff, the weight stuff, the locker room, the way it's laid out, it is unbelievable. It really is an interesting tour. That's if you've we've seen it. We've been around it.
Yeah.
Been in that building daily. It doesn't even look remotely close.
After
Really
the construction was over and I walked back in, and I've been there forever, I'm going like,
Can you take me through it?
no, they don't want you in there.
Just wvusports.com.
I'll take you in there one
Sign
day. You
up
want
for
to go in
the
there?
Yeah.
I got my key card. I'll bring you in there.
Okay. You have a key card?
Yeah. Here's my friend Hoppy. Yeah, we can go down.
All right.
Texter, last one. Where's the best place to park for the food court? You know where Fairmont is? Right off the bridge.
Ride share in, a little Uber wouldn't be
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, it's not designed well to get close. I would park and just, as Brad said, you'd either walk over. It's great if you're over in the lots, like Blue Lot or wherever you tailgate and walk over, or get an Uber. That's probably the best way. It gets tight.
Real tight.
It gets tight, and the weather's supposed to be super. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
I know. High in the 80s.
Hoppy, what's up with this drought? Like, you're a news boy. Can you fix this?
No, we've been reporting on it.
I know.
By the way, you wanted me to mention the Mothman event. Did we already mention that?
No, you didn't. Go ahead.
The
Are we
Mothman,
still on the air?
Yeah, we're live.
the Mothman Festival is this weekend at Point Pleasant.
You going, Brad?
And I think
If I didn't have to work, I would consider to have great respect for the Mothman and the legacy.
and the legacy, not
You-
what
you know
Tony
that.
perpetuates.
You know that.
You guys know I know him.
That's, of course, it goes back to the 1960s when supposedly there were a couple couples who were parked somewhere and they saw this creature come zooming in. It looked like a giant moth with red eyes. They fled the area. The Mothman followed them, and there have been reportedly 100 sightings since then of the Mothman.
Yeah,
So they have a
not true.
so they have.
All due respect to the Mothman.
I'll show you the
So-
suit. I got the picture of the suit.
So they have a festival this weekend in Point Pleasant for the Mothman.
That's
And they-
Mason County.
What's that?
That's Mason County.
Best of luck to the festival. Hope it goes well.
Yes.
Hope everybody enjoys their time there.
Yeah.
It's nice people to go and pay their respects.
Yes. Get your picture taken made with the statue of the Mothman.
I might drive over there and just walk through town yelling out, "It's all fake! It's all fake!"
Yeah. Why don't you ruin people's good time? Why don't you do that?
We're we're doing that every show. Starting to become a habit. Brother.
Yeah. Kind of nailed that. Really shined a light on that.
Yeah, we did. Well, I can't go. I mean,
You're busy.
no. What I'm saying is I can't overemphasize the significance of this game. You get this, you're 2-2, and you go into an off week. You don't get this, you're 1-3, and you're still going into an off week.
With Oklahoma State road trip coming up.
Got to play, man.
Got to play. Got to make plays.
Got to play. This is it. This stretch. Got to play.
Get turnovers.
Start Saturday.
Knock down the
Agreed.
pass. Knock down the passes.
Agreed. Three guys brought to us in part by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card and save immediately on food and fuel. Visit gomart.com to get the card or download their app, the Gomart app. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. They've taken over college football in NIL. Every player in the country is now eating Tudor's biscuits as part of their NIL payment. Start your day the homemade way. It's Tudor's Biscuits. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. You think maybe we get have each one of those Kansas guys eat 5 Mountaineer Tudor's Biscuits. Slow them down a little bit.
No Tudor's Biscuits for them.
They don't get any.
No.
Okay.
None for them. No
Fine.
Tudor's Biscuit for you.
We just want to share. Just want to share the love. Special thanks to our producer, Austin, who just got back from Japan and brought us Japanese Kit Kats that were quite tasty. They were.
Different.
Wasabi. You had the wasabi, Hoppy?
I'm taking that home.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to enjoy that this evening.
I told you, Big Candy's infiltrated.
Big
That's the whole world. Whole
Yeah.
world.
Hey, you're going to be at the food court Friday?
Yeah, like 5 to 7, that range.
Senator, you're making an appearance?
Sometime Friday afternoon.
Yeah, me too. Fridays. On a Friday. All right, we're out. See you.